Hey there guys, PrinceLaharlkun here, and welcome back to Let's Play Disgaea, Hour of Darkness. In the previous episode, we learned that Laharl's prinnies and all of his subsequent vassals, well, all his prinny vassals I should say specifically, are all leaving him, and we're not 100% sure why. Or at least Laharl isn't, but Flan had a meet up with a red prinny, who seems to be a very important person, or a very important prinny, rather. And she learned about the Red Moon. And also had a nice little discussion with Laharl. With Flan, excuse me. So in this episode, we're gonna do our traditional thing, and we're gonna check for healing. I think we should actually be alright. The last two stages in episode 8 really aren't anything terribly difficult, so I'm not too concerned about them whatsoever. Anywho, get that out of the way, and move back to the Lunar Snowfield, and do Freezing Souls.
Etna?
Hmm?
Why is Laharl so stubborn?
Huh? You kidding? He's always been like that.
I don't think that's entirely true. Haven't you noticed? His emotions are slowly changing. I thought that he'd finally awoken to the power of love.
Oh, so that's why you were so angry.
Yes.
That's the demon for you. You seem to have your hopes pretty high, but don't you think that asking for love from a demon is a bit ridiculous?
You think so?
Well, the prince's case is a bit unique.
Unique?
Yep. You see, his mother, the queen, was an eccentric person. She was always talking about love and kindness.
That's not weird at all.
Well, I didn't hate her, but I guess she couldn't help it, being a human and all.
A human?
Yep. She was a witch who came here to study. The king fell in love with her at first sight, and eventually the prince was born. Yada, yada, yada.
Is that so?
Oh, she was always saying things like, demons can love too. Whenever the prince did something bad, she would scold him because she wanted to raise him to be a kind boy. Maybe you remind him of his mother, Flan.
If he was raised that way, why is he like this now?
The queen died.
Huh?
A long time ago, the prince was infected with a rare disease that even the king couldn't cure. There was only one way to save him.
Which was?
The life of one who loved him.
Then?
That's right. The queen took her own life, despite the king's efforts to stop her. It was at that point that the prince started to hate love and kindness.
How sad. So unless his hatred fades, Laharl will have to live the rest of his life without love. Oh, that's just not fair.
Maybe so. But I don't think that he's intentionally trying to hate love. Hatred isn't something that just disappears that easily, is it? Maybe you were a bit rough on him today. Well, don't try to get me involved.
And so, we finally learn a lot more about Laharl and his past, and a bit more about why he is the way that he is, and... anyway, before we continue on with that point, episode 8.3 is relatively simple. It's kind of unnecessarily long because of a couple of reasons, but over here, notice that we have an enemy boost times 3 and an attacks plus 1 symbol, as well as an attack minus 50 that isn't on either. Well, you might be wondering, where the heck are those? And those happen to be way the heck over here. Here we have a line of 4 archers and 2 mages. The reason I said this map ends up taking an unnecessarily long time is because these 2 mages will continue to use buffs on these 4 archers, as well as potentially themselves, but primarily on these guys. They'll have the ability of attacks +1, so that does mean that they will get the chance to use their buffs twice in a turn each time, which grants them a total of 4 times to give these characters buffs, so they're constantly fully buffed, which is precisely why you have an attack -50 symbol that you can throw on here, and I'm pretty sure by this point you know the basics and you know the mechanics, and you already know that my strategy is going to be rush these symbols, destroy them, throw this one on here, and mop up the rest of the map. Pretty simple stuff. Episode 8, I feel as though wasn't really intended to have like crazy difficult maps or anything, and it was designed more for the story more than anything else, and I give a lot of respect to the game for that, because it's doing that thing where it's taking its time to tell the story that it wants to and establish the characters as being as important as they are. And like I said, Disgaea does a fantastic job of balancing silly and serious. And
Won't hold back!
this episode, I think, definitely is a good proof of that. And you must be the guy with the super high. Yep, you're the crazy resistance guy. Of course. These human enemies, by the way, are all battlers, so they're all rank 2 of the soldiers, as well as the female variants of them as well. So they're a bit stronger than the typical warriors that we've fought up to this point. And it's been a while since we've fought human enemies like this anyway, so... Or at least, typical, normal human enemies like these. What am I doing? I'm trying to throw... That's what I'm trying to do, but I'm messing up. There we go. This should be a good point for an asteroid drop. Asteroid drop is like one of my favorite moves. It costs a lot of XP, but it's very handy, and is very useful in many different situations. And of course, I say that, and those 3 did not end up dying. It's fine. We can take out Gob and hopefully finish them off. Oh, maybe. There we go. Yeah, we got more than enough. We should take it. Yes, very easily. Gob is more than capable of taking them out. Perfect. Alright. So, pink turnip. Turnips isn't gonna reach. Nope. And as we can see here, this is an example of the mages being obnoxious and making the map take longer than it's to.
Be gone!
Now, as far as I understand, these enemies won't ever move, by the way, so there's no real cause to be worried about that, ever. So, honestly, it's almost silly that this exists, since those enemies will never have the chance to use it, because you're intelligent, you know to destroy these. Well, you are when these things actually die. They don't survive with a little bit of HP. Oh well, that's what we got fun here for. We can take care of it. And of course, we'll have Weaver and the rest of those enemies over there by taking a lot of this time, and we'll have Laharl join her if she does enough damage, which she didn't. Oh, because you have a legendary power jacket. Oh, of course. Your stats are slightly higher because of it. Actually, to prepare for Laharl's move, we're actually going to take you... Laharl, over here. Go. Go ahead and move you 2 up here just in case. Nothing will happen because Laharl is more than capable. And since we took out this, these silly mages aren't going to spend nearly as long doing magic stuff. Wow, they didn't even attack him. They're just like, whatever, that's weird. Can you do a Blade Rush from here? Nope. Okay, that's what I thought. You don't have enough SP for an asteroid drop. That's the real unfortunate thing with spears or lances, is that they don't have a lot of AoE moves, and the one that they do, or at least the one that they get early on enough is, well, needless to say, you can see they don't really use it very often. And of course, before I forget, there's a Geo symbol here. We'll have her Flan move over here. Gigastar this guy. And Flan is running out of SP precisely because Gigastar costs an incredulous amount of SP.
I'll finish this! Safe!
Get ready!
To be fair though, I don't think she's quite at the level I'd like her to be for using Gigastar. And plus the higher ranked ones, the ones that hit more targets I should say, have the tendency to cost a heck of a lot more. I think it actually yeah, it doubles from the initial cost for every plus some level, but actually I'm gonna check that, because I may be lying. Oh no, Braveheart, what did you do?
Safe! Be gone! Tip!
This map is actually taking me a lot longer than I meant for it to. But such is the nature of it. No, I lied. It's not quite double. This is an increase by 7. And eventually, yeah, it's an increase by 7 each time for that one. This one's a double, and this one's also a double. So it's just Star that's not quite the expensive one. Okay. I never actually noticed that until I thought about it. And then I realized, wait, it might actually be that, but it's not quite. Actually, I'm going to have Weaver throw Laharl to get in the move, because I want to be able to use Winged Slayer, because if you have someone with Winged Slayer, if they're not in the wrong position, they can't. Winged Slayer does actually
Be gone!
Winged Slayer has a surprisingly
Here I come!
amount of diameter difference. Of course, as is typical fashion in this Disgaea Let's Play, one of them survived with 6 HP. Alright, oh, I forgot to kill that one. Oh well. We'll deal with that in a second. Oh no,
Be gone!
Sky Lunge. I'm a lot higher level on my practice run, so this is taking longer than it did on there, just because on my practice run I tend to overlevel. Because I'm trying my best not to be super crazy overleveled, but as you can see, that didn't quite work out. Whoa, I lied, and then I didn't because I forgot.
I'll finish this!
But it was very unnecessary.
Here I come!
And this probably is... And there you have it. That's 8-3. Moving on to 8-4 Under the Moon in just a second. Need to do typical healing stuff. There we go. Should be good now. 8-4 really isn't that hard, so with that being said...
What are those?
Those are the souls of the prinnies who've atoned for their sins. You know the legend, don't you? That inside the prinnies are the souls of sinful humans.
Yes, and they work in Celestia and the Netherworld to atone for those sins.
That's right. The red moon purifies their sins so they can be reborn.
What a heart-wrenching sight.
Etna! Stop them! Prince, weren't you listening? The prinnies are being reborn!
Shut up! I never gave them permission for that! We'll drag them back here if we have to.
interfere.
We'll see about that. Those prinnies are mine. They're my vassals for all eternity.
And so we begin 8-4, where Laharl refuses to back down from his demands and continues to want to bring back his prinnies. And as a result, we must now face the Chernobog. The Chernobog, in this particular instance, is nothing special. We've already seen these enemies before, and the only difference is that they each know Mega Ice, and they have Ice Dance, as well as Fire Dance. The only thing that you really need to worry about in this map are these four right here, or these three right here, rather. As they also have Light Dance. However, I find that they tend not to use Light Dance and will instead use Ice Dance. And although this guy doesn't have a lot of HP, I like to think of it as it being split between these three, and honestly, this map has nothing really special about it. It just comes down to being much stronger than the enemy, and that's really all there is to it. So we have to begin killing these enemies that we don't even really technically have to fight. Up until this point, it was just kind of a casual, yeah, we're gonna take on the enemy and we're gonna kill them because we're the Overlord and it's what we do. And now it just doesn't quite feel right, you know? What we're doing, this cannot be a good thing. Even for a demon, what we're doing right now isn't a good thing. But unfortunately, Harl is very stubborn and still very much a child in his ways of thinking. And unfortunately, he has not learned the more important things in his life. At least not at this point.
You're mine!
Of course, you have 20 HP. Why would you have anything less? Oops, that's important. Use this one. One of the other funny things about Laharl as a character that I also, as much as I hate to admit this, also relate to, is the fact that I had this wonderful, not wonderful, I was very spoiled growing up. And unfortunately, there were a lot of things that I didn't really learn until far later. And so, it's kind of weird how I relate far more to Laharl than really anyone should. Because I too was quite spoiled. I realize it's typical for his character being a prince and all to be very spoiled, but I just thought it was kind of funny how I mentioned last episode that I relate well to Laharl, and then it just so happens also that Laharl is very, very much a spoiled character.
Here I come!
But I was also fortunate enough growing up to not really give in to those spoilery ways as much as actual spoiled people would, because I still tried to be a good person regardless. It's just, I fully recognize that I was spoiled as a kid, and it's always sort of cringy to look back on it. Especially now that I'm older, and it's like, I see Laharl and it's like, great, Laharl's a kind of a spoiled brat, and when I was growing up I was a spoiled brat too. I mean, I say that I was good, and I was for the most part, but I had some moments growing up. I was quite spoiled. So now that we've taken out those 6 enemies, they weren't really that difficult. We have to take on these last 3, which are the true challenge of this map. And they're not using their spells. That's really odd. Generally, when you move up here, they like to attack you with Ice Dance or Mega Ice. Huh. Really odd. Right, I have enough for a winged slayer this way. I can take advantage of that if possible. And I'll have you do Taylor. Oh, no, okay. If he happens to move to this space, which I noticed it happens twice now, you can't attack him from above on that particular spot that I tried to. Or at least you can't with a melee. You may be able to with magic, but I don't think so.
Here I come!
Drop dead. Punk!
Now, since you haven't quite been finished off, I'm gonna finish you off with Sting Kirby. You haven't attacked yet, so I can hit you. Actually, I should be able to hit them both with, nah, I can't hit them both with Giga Star. And I don't have enough for Mega Star, so we're gonna do regular. I think, there we go.
I'll finish this! Be gone!
There's that one.
I won't hold back!
And you have the naturally high resistance, don't you? Well, in all fairness, these enemies do have higher resistance and are much more resistant to magic than the typical enemy, but you just happen to have that random resistance spike. It's so famous in this game. Or infamous, I should say. Hey, Link! You usually don't use that very often. Actually, since this is a very important fight, I'm gonna have you do this. Can't because height issues. Hit them with over yours, right? And in this should finish off the blue one, the red one. The boss might still
Like
get
the dust!
Nope. Still, 5 minutes, not bad.
I'll finish this! Be gone!
There we have it. We beat the boss of 8-4, but did we do the right thing?
Interfering with work.
Work?
That's right, dude. You shouldn't interfere with Death's work, dude. It's here to guide the souls of the prinnies to the Red Moon, dude. If you truly value your vassals, if you have any love for them, then you should wish them good luck, dude.
Huh. You sound just like that love freak. It's what's best for their sake?
That's right, dude.
I see. Then I'll let them go.
You understand, dude?
Well, yeah.
Thank goodness. Then I can leave without worry.
Wait! What sin? What sin did you commit?
I took my own life. Taking your own life is a grave sin.
Why would you?
To save my son's life. Because of my death, my son shut away his feelings. But he's changing ever so slowly. It's all thanks to the wonderful people around him. My work here is done. The rest is up to my son.
You're just going to leave? Not even a goodbye? Despite how much you love him?
What cruel words you speak. Of course I would like to reveal myself. Of course I would like to hug my son with my own hands. But if we are destined to part again, then wouldn't it be better to watch from afar and leave without a single word? He has suffered enough already. My silence is how I show my love.
I'm sorry. I tried to push my idea of love onto you without considering your reasons. Without considering your feelings. I'm sorry.
Prince, you've met a wonderful person. Dude. Prince, take care. Blonde, Edna, take care of him for me. Goodbye.
The red moon reflected in Laharl's eyes, swaying sadly. A gentle, loving mother who gave up her life to save her son. A son who could only accept his mother's death by denying love and kindness. I can't imagine how painful, how difficult it was for him. But I'm sure the red moon will wash away his sorrow.
Love, huh?
Huh?
Nothing. Let's return to the castle, Flan.
Laharl! When Laharl called me by my name for the very first time, I noticed that the red moon no longer shone in his eyes. I'll always remember this sad tale of a mother and her son.